Hello everyone, my name is Quad and today I have another very special and long video for you. We'll go over all the secondary weapons you can get in Warframe. Grineer, Corpus, Prime, Event, Dojo, all of them. All of the weapons are farmable in-game without the need of wasting any money or platinum, but some do require quite a lot of effort or wait time to get them. Now, before I continue, I do want to point out a very specific idea of this video and all of the weapons on this list in general. All of the weapons can be used on Steel Pact missions. All weapons are equal, but some weapons are more equal than others, or better I guess. What I want to say is that some weapons do lack the crowd control or the DPS to play solo Steel Pact survival missions where we get overwhelmed easily. There are too many variables when it comes to weapon performance, but the master rank is a good indication of which weapon is better. It is not the best, but it is a good one. I will only share some of the basic information like the primary status damage they deal, their status chance and critical chance, and I will also show you their firing modes with some more important traits, let's say, which is what matters in my opinion. I will at times also share my subjective opinion on them. I played Warframe for 7, maybe 8 years now, as a hobby mostly, so you have to know that all of the knowledge in Warframe is not in my head. Some of it is still on the wiki and I don't know about it, so if I don't mention something or if I say it wrong, please let me know down in the comments. All of the weapons will be unmodded, so don't worry about the damage they deal. You can mod each one of these weapons to do extremely high damage when you get all the mods. If you want to see at least some of these weapons we show here in action, the best Warframe content creators in my opinion are MC Gamer CZ and Salt Prime, who are my personal favorites because of their chill demeanor, positive attitude and respectfulness. Many other bigger creators are too tunnel visions on high stats and optimal builds in my opinion. Nothing wrong with that, but high numbers are not my cup of tea, and I do not see them as the only fun thing in the game. They know how to make guns fun. And they also don't clickbait, which is a very good value to have. Anyways though, there are 135 secondary weapons since update 36 of Warframe, which means this video will be long. But not as long as the primary weapons one, I think. We will go over all the weapons and their firing modes by mastery ranks, starting with 0 and going all the way up to 16. Which is the highest mastery rank requirement for secondary weapons. Anyways though, let's start now with mastery rank 0 weapons. Bronco is a secondary shotgun that shoots buckshot rounds. It has good status chance and low critical chance, primarily dealing impact damage, which makes it good to use against the Grineer. The fire rate of Bronco is okay, but bad thing about it is that you need to be really close to your enemy that you are trying to kill, since the spread of the shots is very high. It is a very inaccurate weapon. It has 2 shots and a relatively short reload, so using it can be quite a lot of fun with hit and run tactics. You can get it from the market and can later on also get an improved version of it, Bronco Prime. And you can also get an Incaron adapter for it. Lato is a staple pistol of Warframe. It has low status chance and okay critical chance. Primarily it does slash damage, which is good to use against armored enemies. It shoots a normal semi-auto shot that is an equivalent of a pea shooter. The recoil is manageable and the fire rate is good, but the damage, since it is a starter weapon, is not the best. You can get it on the market and can later on also get an Incarnon adapter for it, to make it extremely good. Also, later on in the game, you may as well get an improved version of it, Lato Vandal. Kraken is a burst shot Grineer pistol that has low critical chance and good status chance. It primarily does impact damage, so it is great to use against the Grineer. It shoots out bursts of 3 bullets and is relatively accurate, so you will easily be able to hit headshots with it. You can get it on the market, and later on you can also get an upgraded version of it called Kuva Kraken. Mark I Furis is an automatic 10 pistol that has low critical chance and extremely low status chance. It primarily does puncture damage, which is good against the Corpus. Its pros are definitely the fire rate, good magazine capacity, and fast reload, but I do not recommend playing with it all the time since you can easily get an upgraded version, the normal Furis. If you want to get the Mark I Furis though, you can get it for credits on the market, and later on you may also get an Incarnon adapter for it. Mark I Kunai are throwing daggers with low critical chance and low status chance. They primarily do puncture damage, are a silent weapon, and fire with relatively high fire rate and very fast reload speed. When throwing the daggers, you will have to lead your shots a bit since they do not have the fastest travel speed. If you want to use them more, I recommend you get the normal kunai, but if you want to get the Mark I kunais, you can get them on the market for credits. And later on you can also get an Incarnon adapter for them. The Mighty SEER is the best gun in Warframe, comparable only to the Unholy Stug and the Twin Grakatas of Redemption, which you can get later on. The Mighty SEER has low critical chance and good status chance. It primarily does all 3 physical status effects, puncture, slash, and impact. It shoots missiles at moderate fire rate. The shots may also look like they do radial damage, but they do not. You have to shoot the targets directly. A very interesting detail with the Mighty SEER is that it does soul damage as well, damaging everyone that is not worthy of using it if you just mention its name or praise it. You can get the Mighty SEER by killing Captain War on Mercury and can later on get an upgraded version of it, the Kuva Mighty SEER. Funny enough, secondary weapons have no weapon with a Mastery Rank 1 requirement, so we are skipping to Mastery Rank 2. Furis is an automatic 10 pistol that has low critical chance and OK status chance. It primarily deals puncture damage, which is great against the Corpus. It shoots an automatic fire of bullets with a relatively high accuracy, good reload, and good magazine size. You can get it on the market, and later on you can also get an Incarnon adapter for it, which makes it insanely good. Lex is a high caliber pistol with great critical chance and okay status chance. It primarily does puncture damage and shoots bullets that deal a lot of damage, but the gun itself is very slow, with slow fire rate and slow reload. While it does have pinpoint accuracy, it is also very hard to hit anything if you don't aim, since the recoil is extremely high. If you want it, you can get it on the market, and later on you can also get an upgraded version of it, Lex Prime, and an Incarnon adapter for it, which is really good. Ag Bronco are similar to the normal Bronco, just two of them, instead of one. They have low critical chance and low status chance with long reload duration. Primarily they do impact damage, so they are great against the Grineer. You will shoot a buckshot round when you shoot with very high spread, so you have to be very close to the enemy when using it, and if we compare the Ag Bronco to the normal Bronco, you have increased magazine capacity, faster fire rate, and slower reload speed. You can get them on the market, and later on you can also get an upgraded version, Ag Bronco Prime. Kunai are the upgraded version of Mark I Kunai, with superior stats almost across the board. It has okay critical chance and status chance, with primary puncture damage. Its other performance stats, such as fire rate and reload speed, are exactly the same as the Mark I version, so you will still need to lead your shots a bit. You can get them on the market, and you can also get an Incarnon adapter for them later on. Hikou are another kind of throwable stars with low critical chance and okay status chance. They primarily do puncture damage. They are pretty much the same as Kunai we just looked at, but have 2 times faster fire rate and magazine capacity, and a bit lower damage as well. You will need to lead the shots since they do have travel time, but they are fun to use. You can get them on the market and can later on get an upgraded version of them, Hikou Prime. Ballistica is a Tenno secondary crossbow that has low critical chance and status chance. It primarily does puncture damage and is a silent weapon that has 2 firing modes. You can charge the shot and deal all the damage in one shot that takes up 1 ammo, or you can just press the button and shoot a burst of 4 shots that take up 4 of your ammo. These shots do need to be led a bit, so that is a thing you have to take into account. You can get it on the market, and you may later on upgrade it to Rakta Ballistica or Ballistica Prime. Stug is one of the weapons that is not the best. At least that is what the heretics say. It does low critical chance and almost zero status chance. It primarily does corrosive damage and has two firing modes. First one is an automatic sludge shooter that lands on anything and later blows up, dealing more damage in a radius. These shots may also combine into bigger blobs up to 10 shots that deal even more damage. The second firing mode shoots a glob of 6 shots that you need to charge up, otherwise it works the same as the first firing mode. The fire rate is not the best and the shots do need to be led a bit, but do not let people dissuade you from using the best gun in the game. They are merely mortals. You can get Stug on the market. Gamma Core is a laser secondary weapon with OK critical chance and high status chance. Primarily, it does magnetic damage, great against shielded enemies and overguard. It shoots an automatic laser that has quite a short range on it. It has zero recoil and pinpoint accuracy, so going after headshots with this weapon should be really easy. It also has a very cool reload animation if you ask me. You can get it on the market and can later on get an upgraded version called the Cyanoid Gamma Core. And you can also get an Incarnon adapter for it. Sonicore is a Corpus handheld catapult that has OK critical chance and almost zero status chance on direct hits, but high status chance on explosion hits, 25% to be exact. It primarily does impact damage and is fun to play with since you shoot explosive shots that throw around enemies like ragdolls, but anyways, you can get it on the market. That is all of the Mastery Rank 2 secondary weapons. Next up are Mastery Rank 3 secondary weapons. Aclato is a double version of the Lato pistol. They have low status chance and critical chance. Primarily, they do slash damage and shoot in a semi-auto way with high fire rate. These pistols are not the best, but they are still extremely fun to use at times due to being so plain and simple. Most people use them only for mastery rank fodder though, so I think you should too. You can get them on the market. Sicarus is a 10-0 burst pistol that has good critical chance and low status chance. It primarily does impact damage, great against the Grenier. Sicarus shoots a burst of 3 rounds with very high accuracy and low recoil, so it is very accurate as well. The fire rate, reload speed and all of other stats are great as well, so I recommend getting it from the market at the beginning of the game. You can later on also get Sicarus Prime, a massively improved version. Kastanas are throwable electricity traps that have OK critical chance and high status chance. Primarily, they do electricity damage. To use them, you need to throw them on the ground or at enemies, and then explode them with the alternate fire mode. This will activate the Kastanas and electrocute all the enemies, guaranteeing an electricity status, regardless of status chance. They are a fun weapon to use against groups of enemies, but their fire rate is a bit slow in my opinion. You can, however, easily mod that con out though. You can get them in the dojo Steno lab and can later on upgrade to Sancti Kastanas. And that is it for Mastery Rank 3 secondary weapons, so let's now go to Mastery Rank 4. A Furis are twin automatic pistols that are the same as normal Furis, with very low critical chance and low status chance. They primarily deal puncture damage, great against the Corpus. They shoot a barrage of automatic fire with 2 times faster fire rate, almost, a slower reload speed and 2 times the magazine capacity. They are relatively accurate due to recoil, but of course it can be modded to be better as well. You can get it on the market, and later on you can also get a better version called a Furis Prime. Viper is an automatic pistol with OK critical chance and OK status chance. It primarily does impact damage, making it good against the Grineer. It shoots an automatic stream of bullets with very high fire rate. Luckily, the reload is very fast as well, so your shooting will not be interrupted that much. Sadly though, it has very low magazine capacity, which makes it shoot out all the bullets in 1 second. Well, this is a pistol that is good, but you will spend almost the same time reloading it as shooting it. You can get it on the market and can later on get the Viper Wraith version of it. This pair are Stalker's throwing knives. They have OK critical chance and status chance. Primarily, they deal puncture damage. As you may have thought when I said throwable knives, they are exactly that. You throw them and they hit stuff. The throwing rate is a bit slower this time, but they do more damage. You also need to lead your shots a bit, so you know, just throwing weapons. You can get them as a drop from the Stalker if he comes after you, and can later on get an Incarnon adapter for them. Bronco Prime is an upgraded version of the Bronco shotgun. It has low critical chance and OK status chance. Primarily it does impact damage, so it is great to use against the Grineer. Compared to the normal Bronco, this one has improvements across the board, with higher magazine capacity, fire rate and so on. I recommend getting it because it is extremely fun to use, even if it is not a room clearer weapon. You can get it by cracking open relics, and may also get an Incarnon adapter for it. Spectra is a construction tool that was repurposed to be a weapon, because why shouldn't it be? It has OK critical chance and status chance, and it primarily does slash damage. It shoots a beam of energy that has a relatively short range, the magazine capacity of it is large and its reload is quick, so Spectra is at the end of the day quite reliable. Also, the sound of it is very interesting. You can get it in the Dojo's Energy Lab and can later on upgrade with a superior version called Spectra Vandal. Last though is a revolver pistol. It has high critical chance and status chance. Its primary damage is slash, so it is really nice to use against the armored targets. It shoots at its enemies with very high recoil, which is manageable, but it can be a hassle to control at times. Besides that, the reload is pretty fast and the pistol is accurate, so you can easily use it for scoring headshots. You can get it on the market, can later on get Vasto Prime, an upgraded version of it, and can also get an Incarnon adapter for it. Sestra is a Corpus pistol that has low critical chance and high status chance. It primarily does puncture damage, making it good against the Corpus and the Orokin. When shooting it, it will first need to warm up a bit, and after that, it will shoot at a steady fire rate. The fire rate is not the fastest and the recoil is a bit hard to control at times if moving around, but it otherwise is a relatively accurate and reliable weapon even over long distances. You can get it on the market. ACLEX are two pistol version of the Lex pistol and shoot like a truck. They have good critical chance and okay status chance with primary puncture damage. They shoot in the same way and style as normal Lex, high caliber shots that pack quite a punch and recoil. The only two things that bring this pistol down a bit are reload speed and slow fire rate, but mods can easily fix that. You can get the blueprint for it on the market and can later on get a better version, the ACLEX Prime. Angstrom is a handheld rocket launcher that has okay critical chance and great status chance, with blast damage as its primary damage. You can shoot Angstrom in two different ways. You can hold your shooting button and shoot all the rockets in the magazine at once, or you can shoot each one on its own if you just click. Angstrom is not very accurate and its recoil is a bit over the roof, but it is fun to blow up enemies from time to time. You can get it on the market and can later on upgrade it to Prisma Angstrom, and you can also get an Incarnon adapter for it. Axani are very fast fire rate 10-0 automatic pistols that have okay status chance and critical chance with primary puncture damage. When shooting them, you will see that they are not the most accurate of weapons, but they don't have that much recoil either. Even though its magazine capacity is huge, the fire rate is able to eat up all the bullets in 5 seconds, even if unmodified. If you want it, you can get it on the market. Nucor is a Grineer microwave weapon that enlarges enemies while dosing them with radiation. It has low critical chance and great status chance with primarily radiation damage. It is a very fun weapon and also a powerful one to use. It doesn't have the best range, but honestly, I play with it sometimes just to enlarge enemy heads. It also applies a special status effect to the enemies called Microwave, which increases the damage of galvanized mods and condition overload. You can get it in the Dojo Scam Lab and can later on get an improved version of it called Kuva Nucor. Hiku Prime are upgraded Hiku stars that have low critical chance and great status chance. Primarily, they deal puncture damage. There is not much to say here. They are a bit better throwing stars than its lesser counterpart, the Hiku. You still need to lead your shots, but they are highly accurate and fast moving. You can get them by cracking open relics. Viper Wraith is a Grineer auto pistol. It has good critical chance and okay status chance, with primary impact damage. Compared to the normal Viper, it has lower magazine capacity and faster reload speed. It once again is not the most accurate of weapons, but you can make many fun builds with it due to its fire rate and mods you can get. You can get Viper Wraith from Barrowketeer if he brings it around. Twin Vipers are a version of Viper automatic pistols, but instead of one, you have two of them. They have a good critical chance and okay status chance with primary impact damage. The only two improvements over one Viper pistol are 2 times the fire rate and 2 times the magazine capacity, but also much slower reload. It still shoots exactly the same as well, with fast fire rate and relatively accurate shots and very little recoil. You can get it on the market and can later on replace them with an upgraded version called Twin Wraith Vipers. Twin Gremlins are Grineer nail guns that are really fun to use. They have okay critical chance and status chance. It primarily deals all physical status effects, puncture, impact, and slash. The full auto fire rate of the Gremlins is not the best, but the satisfaction of the reload and slow moving projectiles, which you do have to lead a bit, is very welcoming. Additionally, you can also pin enemies to the walls when you kill them, like the bow weapons. But anyways, you can get them as a drop from Lieutenant Leh Krill and Captain War assassination mission on series. Kochmak is an automatic shotgun that eats up your ammo like crazy. It has okay critical chance and very high status chance, with primary slash damage. When shooting it, you will see that Kochmak will use more and more ammo with each shot you shoot. This also shoots more shots, so your ammo is not wasted. The fire rate and accuracy are great, and so is its recoil, so I recommend getting it, or later on upgrading into the twin Kochmak. You can get it in the dojo's cam lab. Atomos is a Grineer mining tool that is used to melt rock with heated plasma. It has good critical chance and great status chance, with primary heat damage. It shoots a heat of plasma that can chain to nearby enemies, dealing more damage to large groups. The weapon has high fire rate and no recoil whatsoever, but it is hard to hit headshots with it because of its projectile kind. You can get it on the market and can later on get an Incarnon adapter for it, which is very good. Coolstar is a Grineer one-handed cluster bomb torpedo launcher with good critical chance and status chance. It primarily does impact damage on direct hits and blast damage as radial damage. The torpedoes you shoot can be detonated mid-air if you click the alternate fire mode. Once the torpedo hits the target or you detonate it yourself, it will explode into 3 smaller cluster bombs that will fly into random directions and explode, dealing even more damage. While this weapon is fun, it is also extremely unreliable, with the cluster bombs flying into every direction, and it is only good against groups pretty much. You can get it on the market. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 5 weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 6 secondary weapons. Brak is a Grineer secondary shotgun with good critical chance and okay status chance. It primarily does impact damage, great against the Grineer. It has very good fire rate but not the best accuracy. The magazine capacity is low but the reload is quite fast, so the stats kind of cancel each other out. The worst part about Brak is by far its acquisition, which will require you to kill the Rust Rag 3 over and over again. So yeah, good luck farming for it. Detron is a Corpus shotgun that is very painful to get. It has low critical chance but great status chance with primary radiation damage. It shoots a barrage of plasma pellets with a bit of spread, great for clearing groups of enemies. It has fast reload and fire rate, so be sure to try it out if you ever get it. You can get it as a drop from the Zanuka Harvester, not the Zanuka prototype in Aladvi's assassination mission. Later on you can also get an improved version of it called Mara Detron or Tenet Detron. Rakta Ballistica is an upgraded version of the normal Ballistica in every single way. It has low critical chance and status chance, with puncture damage as its primary damage. It works in the exact same way as Ballistica does. If you charge it, you will shoot one shot that deals a lot of damage, and if you don't charge it, you will shoot 4 shots at a time, all of them dealing less damage. Additionally, this weapon also has the Blight perk that will cause an explosion around you, dealing viral damage to the enemies, giving you energy and a sprint boost when you get enough affinity. You can get Rakta Ballistica from the Red Veil Syndicate. Zylok is a 10-0 pistol that works like Sybaris, its primary weapon counterpart. It has OK critical chance and great status chance. Its primary damage is slash, great against armored targets, and its firing mode is a bit different, called the duplex. You can shoot both shots at once if you just click the fire button, or you can shoot one, then hold and release to shoot the other one. Zylok has a bit of recoil, so you will need to learn how to manage it a bit, but it is relatively accurate even over long distances. It has fast and unique reload and after-shot animation, so I recommend getting it. You can get it from Barrowketeer if he brings it around, and can later on also upgrade to Zylok Prime. And also you can get an Incarnon adapter for it. Plinks is a Corpus laser pistol that has great critical chance and low status chance, with primary puncture and heat damage. It has a bit slower fire rate but a massive advantage over other weapons, which is a battery magazine, meaning you will never run out of ammo on it. It is an accurate, fun and simple weapon to play with. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab and can later on also get an enhanced version of it called Tenet Plinks. Tenet Plinks is an upgraded version of the Plinks with very high critical chance and OK status chance. It primarily does puncture damage and the damage of your progenitor Warframe. Compared to the Plinks that we've just seen, it is an upgrade in every regard with rechargeable magazine. In addition, you can also shoot a massive explosive shot that will explode a second after it lands with your alternate fire mode. Because of this, Tenet Plinks is great against specific enemies and groups of enemies. You can get it from your Sisters of Parvos. Azima is an automatic 10-0 pistol that has good critical chance and status chance. It primarily does slash damage and is quite unique. It shoots an automatic stream of lead with very high fire rate and a very big magazine on top of a very fast reload. Azima also has a special firing mode which shoots out the disc that lands on the ground and spins around, shooting at enemies around it. It is a fun weapon to play with, so I recommend getting it. You can get it as a choice during your 100th, 300th or 500th login day. And that is it with Mastery Rank 6 secondary weapons. So let's continue to the Mastery Rank 7. Bolto is a bolt shooter with good critical chance and low status chance with primary puncture damage. It is a semi-auto pistol shooting bolts that you will have to lead a bit. Honestly, the gun is fun to play with if you're going against single targets. The shots are also able to pin enemies to the walls in a very fun manner at times, so I definitely recommend it because it can be quite fun if you are accurate. You can get it on the market. Lato Vandal is an upgraded version of Lato with much higher critical chance and okay status chance. It primarily does slash damage. Compared to the normal Lato, the stats are improved across the board with slightly better fire rate and much better damage, critical chance and status chance. It may be a bit hard to get though, since you will have to play Elite Sanctuary Onslaught to get it. Acid is a semi-auto toxin pistol that has very low critical chance and low status chance. It primarily does toxin damage and is at first glance not the best. However, Acid has a unique trait which forces a toxin proc on the enemy every time you hit it. Status chance is always 100% for toxin effects, but the written amount of status chance for all the other effects on the gun. You can also combine the toxin effect on the gun, for example with heat so you get gas, and you will still do additional toxin status. You can get it in the dojo's biolab. Twin Viper's Wraith are an upgraded version of the Twin Vipers with good critical chance and okay status chance. Primarily, they do impact damage. They work in exactly the same way as normal Twin Vipers with higher magazine capacity and more critical chance. This is sadly the only gun I cannot show you since I do not have it. I tried farming for it, but you can only get them from invasion missions as a reward if they magically appear in them. But they don't appear that often. Dual Sestra is an automatic corpus bolt shooter that is literally just two Sestra guns. They have low critical chance and high status chance with primary puncture damage. The fire rate is the double of the normal Sestra and the magazine capacity is like that as well. The reload on the other hand is a bit slower, so the pros and cons of the gun cancel each other out kind of. When shooting them, they are not the most accurate and do need to warm up a bit before you can start shooting them with their full potential. You can get them in the dojo's energy lab and can later on upgrade with Secura Dual Sestra. Marrowlock is a Grineer pistol that shoots in quite a unique way. It has good critical chance and great status chance with primary impact damage. It shoots as a semi-pistol with low fire rate and okay reload speed, and it is not the most accurate, but you are still able to score headshots if you really try to aim. When you shoot it, you will notice that you get very interesting animation each time you shoot it. You can get it in the Dojo's Chem Lab and can later on upgrade it into Vekar Marilock. Cyanoid Gamma Core is an upgraded version of the normal Gamma Core. It has great critical chance and very good status chance with only magnetic damage. Compared to the normal Gamma Core, it has improved stats all over the board, with the only exception being reload speed, which is a bit longer. It still fires the normal laser with no recoil and short range, but it also has a unique perk called Entropy. Once you get enough affinity, Cyanoid Gamma Core will cause an explosion of magnetic damage around you, increasing your energy pool and giving you some energy on the top for some time. You can get it from Cephalon Suda Syndicate. Fusilli are throwable pieces of glass with great critical chance and high status chance, with primary slash damage. The throwing rate is relatively slow compared to other throwing knives. From my experience, they do have a slight faster velocity speed though, but you will still have to lead your shots a bit. Fusilli also have alternate firing mode that will throw 3 pieces of glass at once in a horizontal line, great for shooting at groups. Additionally, the velocity speed of the throws is doubled if you're playing as Gara, so that is great as well. You can get it on the market. Stuba is a Grineer automatic pistol. It has great critical chance and OK status chance, with primary slash and impact damage. It shoots an automatic fire of bullets with good fire rate, the magazine is big, and the reload is quite fast, so it should be relatively easy to mod it in very nice ways. You can get it as a drop from Ghoul Rictus Alphas from the Ghoul bounties on Cetus. Hystrix is an automatic elemental pistol. It has very good critical chance and OK status chance. Its primary damage is in the form of puncture and one of the basic elemental status effects. The thing is, Hystrix allows you to change quills with the alternate fire mode. When shooting with the fire quill, you will have a 100% chance to score a heat status on the enemy. If you have your weapon modded for toxin damage, for example, the status will not combine into gas, but it will apply one heat status, but may apply one toxin status based on your status chance. You can get it from the market and can later on get an improved version of it called Hystrix Prime. And that is it for Mastery Rank 7 secondary weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 8 ones. Vasto is a double Vasto with good critical chance and okay status chance. It primarily does slash damage, which is great against armored enemies. Compared to a single Vasto, Vasto have almost 2 times higher fire rate and magazine capacity and slower reload speed. Other than that, it is exactly the same as the normal Vasto. A bit of recoil, a good accuracy, but still good reload speed. You can get it on the market and can later on upgrade to Vasto Prime. Stiletto are automatic 10-0 pistols. They have a good critical chance and status chance with primary impact damage. They are very satisfying to use, the fire rate of Stiletto is quite fast, and they are quite accurate with very little recoil. The reload is very fast as well and very satisfying to look at. The way you drop the magazines is just something else. You can get it in the dojo Steno lab and can later upgrade to Stiletto Prime. Lex Prime is a 10-0 high caliber pistol that is an upgraded version of the normal Lex. It has high critical chance and status chance with primary puncture damage. The weapon itself is a staggering upgrade from the normal Lex with improved stats across the board. The fire rate is fast now and the recoil is a bit more manageable. If you liked playing with Lex, Lex Prime is definitely a gun to use. You can get it by cracking open relics, and you can also get an Incarno adapter for it later on. Akihabara are twin pistols that have very high status chance and low critical chance. They primarily do slash damage. They shoot in a burst mode of 2 shots with good fire rate and very unique reload animation. They are relatively accurate and can score headshots, but they may not be the easiest of guns to use. They are very reliable weapons that you can get on the market, and later on you may also upgrade to Akihabara Prime. SEER are 10-0 throwing daggers with very high critical chance and okay status chance. They primarily do puncture damage. The rate you throw SEER daggers at is not the best, and their velocity speed is also not the fastest. However, they have a very special effect, which are sparkles, following them until they hit the target. If you want to extend your fashion frame to the battlefield and your weapons, this is the weapon to use. You can get it on the market, and later on you can get a different version of them called SEER Prime. Talons are throwable bombs that latch onto enemies and explode on demand. They have great critical chance and high status chance. Primarily they do puncture damage, but they also have a 100% chance to get a puncture status on the enemies when they explode. When you use them, you need to throw the Talons onto the enemies or on the ground, and then use the alternate fire mode to explode them. This is a good weapon for exploding large groups of low-ranking enemies. You can get them from the dojo Steno Lab. Pandero is a pistol that is quite unique. It has high critical chance and OK status chance with primary slash damage. It shoots bullets as a normal semi-auto pistol, but not the fastest fire rate. It also has quite a bit of recoil, so be sure to take that into account. The best thing about this weapon, in my opinion, is the reload, because it sounds very freaking good. You will hear it later. Pandero also has an alternate firing mode, which shoots out the whole magazine at once. If you're playing as Octavia, killing an enemy with the alternate fire mode will also increase the reload speed of your next reload, which is not the best, but hey, it's a good ability, I guess, a good trait for the weapon. You can get Pandero on the market and can later get an improved version of it called Pandero Prime. Cycron is a Corpus Plasma pistol with OK critical chance and very high status chance. Primarily it does radiation damage, with a bit of puncture and slash on the side. It is a good weapon to spread status with on the enemies due to its high status chance and fast fire rate. The best part about Cycron is the rechargeable magazine, which means you will never run out of ammo. Quite great if you ask me. You can get it in the dojo's energy lab and can later on get an upgraded version of it called Tenet Cycron. Prisma Angstrom is an upgraded version of the normal Angstrom with better stats across the board. It has great critical chance and status chance with primary blast damage. You can shoot it in two ways, by just clicking, which shoots out only one rocket, and holding, which shoots out all of the rockets at once. The charging time is really low, so you will most of the time be able to shoot all of the rockets, the whole volley, at once. You can get it from Barocketeer if he brings it around, and can later get an Incarnon adapter for it as well. Oko Kerr is a very unique Corpus laser beam weapon with OK critical chance and great status chance. Primarily, it deals radiation damage and has quite a unique perk to its shots. When you kill an enemy, the pistol will start shooting out up to 4 additional tendrils that will go to one of the enemies you're looking at. The tendrils will however go away when you reload. Because of this, the best thing to do is to kill a few low-ranking enemies and then go after the big ones. You can get Oko Kerr in the dojo's energy lab. Cyanex is a Corpus pistol with OK critical chance and high status chance. It primarily does impact damage on impact and gas damage on radial damage on its first firing mode. The first firing mode shoots out ricocheting shots that go after the enemies. On the second firing mode, the damage is primarily puncture and slash based. You will shoot out your whole magazine at once with no homing, so be sure to look at the target you are looking to eliminate. You can get Cyanax in the dojo's energy lab. Acarius are twin pistols that shoot seeking micro-rockets. They have low critical chance and great status chance. Primarily they do blast damage with massive explosions. They will shoot them in bursts that hone towards enemies and explode on impact, making them very easy to use since you don't have to aim a lot. The reload time can be a bit long, but the weapon does have an additional trait of being reloaded quicker if you're sprinting. You can get it as a drop from infested demolists at Ur Disruption on Uranus, and can later on get an upgraded version called Acarius Prime. Velox is an automatic pistol with good critical chance and great status chance, with primary slash damage. It shoots a rapid fire of bullets that goes on for quite a while since the magazine capacity is absolutely huge. The reload speed itself is not the best, but the weapon does have an additional trait, which halves the reload time if you're reloading from empty magazine. To top that, Velox also has innate ammo efficiency, making every 6th bullet you shoot on average appear out of thin air. The ammo efficiency increases even more if you're playing as Protea. You can get the blueprint for it from the market and the parts from the Granum Void. Epitaph is a very unique weapon with many uses. It has 2 firing modes, quick shots and charge shots. On quick shots it has no critical chance and very high status chance, and on the charge shots it has high critical chance and low status chance. Quick shots do radial blasts that have 100% chance to apply cold status to the enemies. Because of the large radius and fast fire rate, this weapon is extremely good at priming enemies. The second firing mode will, on the other hand, have a 100% chance to apply impact status on the enemies. On direct hits you also get a 1.2 times headshot damage multiplier if you're playing with Sevagoth. You can get it by playing Railjack as a reward drop. Compressor is a bubble gun that is very fun to play with. It has low critical chance but very high status chance, and its primary damage is viral. It shoots out bubbles that float around for a bit and then pop. If you shoot them near an enemy, they will try to latch onto it and then explode. This means that the shots will actually hit the enemies twice, making it one of the best secondary weapons multi-shot wise, next to the twin Rakatas. The fire rate of Compressor is not the fastest, but you can easily improve that and make it very good. You can get it from the Bash Lab in the dojo. And that is it for Mastery Rank 8 weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 9 ones. Agbolto are twin pistols that shoot bullets at the enemies. They have okay critical chance and very low status chance. Primarily, they deal puncture damage, which means they are good against the corpus. You shoot in a semi-auto mode with an okay fire rate and great accuracy. You can get them on the market and can later on get two upgraded versions, Telos Agbolto and Agbolto Prime. Embolist is an infested toxin sprayer with very little critical chance and very high status chance, with primary toxin damage. Its use is quite straightforward, you shoot and toxin sprays in that general direction. It is nothing special, but it can be fun to use at times because of the visual toxic clouds that go onto enemies and no recoil. It is just very easy to use. You can get it from the dojo's biolab. Thesis is an infested bolt shooter that has quite a unique mechanic on it. It has low critical chance and very high status chance. Primarily, it does corrosive and puncture damage. Its fire rate might not be the best, but shooting an enemy will actually count as 3 shots. When an enemy is hit, the bullet burrows into the enemy and hits 2 more times over a couple of seconds. This way, you will be able to apply more status effects on the enemy than you initially think. You can get it from the dojo's biolab. Mara Detron is an upgraded version of the normal Detron with okay critical chance and good status chance. Its only form of damage comes from radiation, and yes, it still works the same as the normal Detron. It shoots a plasma buckshot round that can deal more damage over distances due to having a farther fall-off. Other than that, it functions exactly the same way as the normal Detron, as I said. You can get it from Barrow-Ketir if he brings it around. Axomati are automatic Tenno pistols with high critical chance and okay status chance. They primarily deal slash damage with a side of puncture. They are the secondary version of the Soma rifle with high fire rate and not the best accuracy. Before they start shooting, they need to wind up a bit till they get to their max fire rate. You can get them from the dojo's Tenno lab. Twin Grakatas are one of the best weapons in the game that form the holy trinity of the mighty SEER, Unholy Stug, and the Twin Grakatas. They have high critical chance and good status chance, with primary impact damage. They have a large magazine and insane fire rate, but the reload and the recoil are also insane. So you will have to watch out how you play with them for a bit. You can get them on the market. Pox are throwable sacks of infestation that have very low critical chance and very high status chance. They primarily do toxin damage in two ways. First, there is the direct impact that just does damage, and the second one is a gas cloud that comes out of that sack for a few seconds. Pox are great at spreading status and dissolving armor, for example with the corrosive status, or you can also control large groups with electricity status. You can get them in the dojo's biolab. Twin Roga are Grineer shotguns that have okay critical chance and status chance. Primarily, they deal puncture damage. The amount of damage these shotguns are able to deal is quite high, but they have a few drawbacks. The fire rate, low magazine, and slow reload are the points that are holding them back. So modding these minuses out is the best in my opinion. Despite the cons, Twin Rogas can still be insanely good against heavy enemies. You can get them on the market. Quads is a Grineer electric pistol. It has two firing modes. On its auto-firing mode it has okay critical chance and great status chance, with its primary damage being electricity. And on its burst mode it has great critical chance and good status chance. To use the auto-firing mode you need to start shooting off the hip and can then aim down. If you want to use the burst mode though, you need to aim down and shoot. This will shoot a burst of 4 shots. The fire rate of quads is good, but you may also have some problems with the recoil and accuracy. When you reload quads with an empty magazine, it will also make a shockwave of electricity around you, which is a unique perk for this weapon. You can get it from the market. And that is it for Mastery Rank 9 weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 10 secondary weapons. Magnus is a 10-0 pistol with great critical chance and status chance. It primarily does impact damage, which is great against the Grineer. It shoots in semi-auto mode that has quite a lot of recoil, but is also quite accurate. The fire rate is high and the reload speed is relatively good, so you can get it on the market. AG Bronco Prime are an upgraded version of the AG Bronco double shotgun pistols. They have very high status chance and low critical chance. Primarily they do impact damage and function much in the same way as the normal AG Bronco. You need to be right in front of the enemy because of the massive spread and low accuracy. Their reload time is a bit slower due to double the guns, but you do also have double the magazine capacity and double the fire rate, so that is good. You can get them by cracking open relics. Sancti Kastanas are an upgraded version of the Kastanas. They have great critical chance and high status chance, with electricity damage being the primary damage. They work exactly the same way as the normal kastanas. Once you throw them, they latch onto a surface and then explode on demand with the alternate fire button. They have 100% chance to add one electricity status on the enemy, regardless of the status chance and the status type on them. There are not a lot of them though, so watch out and go after whole groups. Additionally, Sancti Kastanas also have the Purity trait, which makes a corrosive explosion that damages enemies, restores your health, and increases your health for some time, after you get a little bit of affinity. You can get them from the new Loka Syndicate. Secura Dual Sestra are an upgraded version of the Dual Sestra, with OK critical chance and great status chance. Primarily they do puncture damage, they shoot with a bit slower fire rate compared to the normal counterpart, but they have improved stats across the board, with higher damage and all the other chances. They still shoot with a bit of recoil, but they are manageable with a few mods. They also come with the Sequence trait that causes an explosion of radiation, restores your shields, and boosts your shields when you get enough affinity. You can get them from the parent Sequence Syndicate. Vapor Marilock is an upgraded version of the Marilock. It has great critical chance and high status chance. Primarily, it does impact damage, great against the Grineer. It still has quite some recoil and very unique shooting animation, but it also has a unique perk called Justice that makes a blast of explosion that heals you and increases your armor for some time, after you get enough affinity. You can get it from the Steel Meridian Syndicate. Vasto Prime is an upgraded version of the Vasto with great critical chance and OK status chance. Primarily, it does slash damage, which is really good against armored enemies. The fire rate is quite good, and the pistol itself doesn't have much recoil, so it is very accurate. All around, a reliable weapon. You can get it by cracking open relics, and can later on also get an Incarnon adapter for it. Twin Kochmak is a double Kochmak that has OK critical chance and insanely high status chance, with primary impact damage. When firing them, they shoot a buckshot that will take up more and more ammo as you shoot, with the effect of actually using the ammo, so it isn't just wasted. It is a fun weapon to play with, especially against groups of lower ranking enemies. You can get its blueprint as a drop from the Kala the Thane fight. Staticor is a very unique weapon with good critical chance and great status chance, with primary radiation damage. It shoots out energy balls that hit the enemy and explode. You can shoot in two different ways. The first one is fast, quick charges that cause a small explosion on impact, which you can shoot by clicking. And the second one is charged shot of 5 shots that explode in a large area, great for clearing groups. It is quite different. You can get it from the dojo's energy lab. Spira Prime is a different version of the Spira throwable daggers. They have high critical chance and good status chance, but damage-wise, they are worse compared to the normal Spira, with primary puncture damage. The throwing daggers still work the same with slightly better fire rate, reload speed, magazine capacity, and so on. You can get them by cracking open relics. Stiletto Prime is an upgraded version of the Stiletto. It has good critical chance and high status chance with primary impact damage. Compared to its normal version, it is an improvement almost across the board, with the only difference being a bit lower critical chance and slower fire rate. Besides those two downgrades, it is an upgrade across the board, and it also looks absolutely amazing. You can get it by cracking open relics. Neil is a very unique weapon with great critical chance and low status chance. Primarily, it does impact and puncture damage. It has a very unique trait. If you don't hit a headshot, you will reload your weapon very slowly. But if you do hit a headshot, your Neil will turn into an unstoppable machine. A headshot will make your Neil shoot in automatic mode, will add additional 0.5 times critical damage, and will also increase status chance by 20%. Well, all of these things up to 3 times. And oh yeah, also 100% ammo efficiency for 2 seconds, so you will have to go after headshots quite a lot. You can get it on the market, and can later on get the primed version of it, Neil Prime. Zak-T is a very interesting pistol that is great to use with melee gameplay. It has low critical chance and great status chance with gas damage as its primary damage. When shooting it, you will first do some direct damage to the enemies, and after a second the bullet will explode and deal gas damage to the enemies. The said gas damage will not only damage enemies, but it will also make them vulnerable to finishers regardless of their rank. It is a great way to control crowd and kill enemies with melee weapons. You can get it from the dojo's Steno lab. Arca Cisco is a Corpus sniper rifle. It has good critical chance and great status chance, with primary puncture damage. It shoots a laser with almost no recoil, with each hit on the enemy increasing the status chance and critical chance of the weapon by 4%. This critical chance and status chance come after the mods, so if you mod it for 30% critical damage increase and then hit 5 enemies, you will get 50% critical chance, and the same goes for status chance as well. When aiming down, you are able to switch between 2x zoom and 4x zoom, so you are able to kill enemies from farther away, with more precision, let's say. You can get it from the dojo's energy lab. Spectra Vandal is an improved version of the Spectra in every regard. It has great critical chance and high status chance with primary slash damage. It shoots a short-range laser that has no recoil, the fire rate is good, and the magazine capacity is great, finished off with a fast reload. The only problem with this weapon is that you will not be very mobile while trying to shoot at something, so you may get downed if you are not careful. You can get it from the railjack missions in the Rail Proxima from the Points of Interest. Athodai is a unique weapon. It has great critical chance and OK status chance on its auto burst fire mode with primary heat damage. And it has good critical chance and high status chance on the charge firing mode, with heat damage as its primary damage once again. While shooting it, you may shoot it as a normal laser with a bit of recoil, or you can unleash a jet of energy that will melt enemies if you score a headshot kill. The gun will enter overdrive mode, gaining more fire rate and 100% ammo efficiency, which it desperately needs since the ammo maximum is not that high. This also only works on the primary firing mode. You can get it from the Venus Proxima railjack missions. Grimoire is a book with great critical chance and high status chance. It primarily does electricity damage. To damage the enemies, you will be casting spells at them, those being Vicious Mockery most of the time, so be sure to prepare some colorful insults. The shots do have some radial damage as well. You may also use the alternate fire mode, which throws out a giant electricity ball that chains to the enemies and applies electricity status on them. The alternate fire mode does recharge over time, so don't worry, you will be able to cast your spells more. And talking about spells, you will also be able to get special mods on them that act like boosts. You will get the Grimoire when completing the Whispers in the Walls quest. Canter are throwable knives that are quite unique. They have good critical chance and great status chance with primary slash damage. The rate of fire with which you throw them is very nice, and their velocity is quite good as well. But the best thing is the additional trait. First additional trait is a 300% critical chance on returning daggers. Each time you throw the daggers, they will land, and when you reload, they will come back and hit the enemies in the back with red crits. If you manage to hit at least one of the enemies with returning daggers, you will trigger a buff that will decrease the amount of time your allies need to reload. The buff lasts for quite some time, so it is very good. You can get Canter in the Ascension game mode on Uranus after the Jade Shadows quest. Dex Furis is an upgraded version of the Ak Furis. They have good critical chance and great status chance, with primary puncture damage. They fire with a very fast rate of fire and a lot of recoil. They are also pretty inaccurate, but you can easily mod that out. You can get them during the Warframe anniversary events. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 10 secondary weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 11 ones. Telos Agbolto are an upgraded version of the Agbolto with good critical chance and great status chance. They primarily deal puncture damage. They also work exactly the same as normal Agbolto, with quite inaccurate shots that pin enemies to the walls if you kill them. Additionally, they also have the Truth trait that causes an explosion of gas, regens your health, and gives you more parkour velocity for some time after you get enough affinity. You can get them from the Arbiters of Hex's Syndicate. Dual Toxicist are dual semi-auto pistols with absolutely terrible stats at first sight. They have low critical chance and very high status chance with primary puncture damage. Their fire rate is absolute garbage, but if you score a headshot, you will unlock a very unique and potent trait. After you score a headshot, you will increase the fire rate of the dual Toxicists, make them completely ammo efficient, and add 100% toxin damage to the whole weapon, which combines with the other status effects on the weapon, so if you have it modded for heat, they will do gas damage instead. You can get it in the dojo's biolab, and can later on get an Incarnon adapter for it. Prisma Twin Gremlins are a different version of the Twin Gremlins. They have great critical chance and status chance, with puncture damage as its primary damage. Compared to the normal Gremlins, they are better in every stat, with the exception of damage. The Prisma Twin Gremlins are more accurate, have more magazine capacity, and have better fire rate and more critical chance, so they are still very good. You can get them from Barrow-Kitir if he brings them around. Zymos is an infested pistol that is quite unique. It has low critical chance and great status chance, with puncture damage as its primary damage type on direct hits and toxin on its radial hits. When shooting at the enemy, hitting a headshot will cause the enemy to have a panic attack, with all its thoughts exploding into every direction and dealing toxin damage. Direct shots on the damage will also apply status effect on it, so yeah, it can be quite fun. You can get it from Father at Necrolist. Metabolist is an infested pistol and grenade at the same time. It has OK critical chance and status chance on its normal firing mode, and extremely high critical chance and status chance if you throw the grenade when your magazine is empty. It's quite hard to explain this without visuals, so let's take a look. All shots primarily do corrosive damage, so it is great for armor stripping. It shoots a beam of corrosion that has no recoil and short range. But if you want to, you can reload and throw a grenade at the enemy. Luckily, this will not take the rest of your ammo in the magazine. If you throw the grenade when the mag is empty, you will do much more damage with it due to higher status chance and critical chance. You can get it in the dojo's biolab. I agree, are throwable sticky bombs that have very high critical chance and OK status chance. Primarily, they deal blast damage with the radial attack. To use the bombs, you need to throw them at the enemies and then wait. Once the enemies are near, you can explode them with the secondary fire mode and watch the mayhem. The only bad thing about this weapon is, in my opinion, the amount you get in total. You can get it in the Khal's garrison after you complete the new war quest. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 11 weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 12 secondary weapons. AK Magnus are double Magnus pistols that have great critical chance and status chance, with primary impact damage. They work in exactly the same way as normal Magnus, with quicker fire rate and double the magazine capacity, but longer reload. You can get it from the market and can later on get an enhanced version called AK Magnus Prime. Piranha is an automatic shotgun with very high critical chance and low status chance. Primarily, it does slash damage. It shoots a barrage of very inaccurate buckshot with a very high recoil and high fire rate. It has a relatively quick reload and can be very powerful if you are accurate. You can get it from the Tenno lab and can later on get a better version of it called Piranha Prime. AK Vasto Prime is a double Vasto Prime, with great critical chance and status chance. It primarily deals slash damage, great against the infestation for example, or armored enemies. Since it is a double weapon, it just has an improved fire rate and magazine capacity with a bit slower reload speed. You can get it by cracking open relics from Barrow-Kitir if he brings them around. Akiagara Prime is an upgraded version of the Akiagara pistols with increased stats. They have very high status chance and good critical chance, primarily dealing slash damage and shooting in bursts of 2 shots at a time. They yet again have a very unique reload animation, are reliable with their fire rate, and are honestly a delight to play with. You can get them by cracking open relics. Axomati Prime are a better version of the Axomati pistols. They have great critical chance and good status chance with primary slash damage. When firing, you need to wind them up first. After that, they will shoot with a relatively high fire rate and very good accuracy. The recoil is manageable and the guns look really nice as well. You can get them by cracking open relics. Hystrix Prime is an upgraded version of the Hystrix with high critical chance and great status chance. Primarily, it does puncture damage and allows you to change quills with the alternate fire mode. When shooting with the poison quill, for example, you will have a 100% chance to score a toxin status on the enemy. If you have your weapon modded for heat damage, for example, the status will not combine into gas, but will apply one toxin status and may apply one heat status based on your status chance. You can get it by cracking open relics. Aphuris Prime are an upgraded version of the Aphuris twin pistols that have OK critical chance and great status chance. They primarily deal puncture damage, so it is great to use against the Corpus. In a similar fashion to the normal Aphuris, Aphuris Prime shoots a barrage of high fire rate shots that annihilate everything if you are accurate enough, let's say. You can get it by cracking open relics. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 12 secondary weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 13 secondary weapons. Agbolto Prime are a primed version of the Agbolto with very high critical chance and OK status chance. It primarily does puncture damage and acts the same way as the normal Agbolto would, with faster fire rate, increased magazine capacity, and slower reload speed. Killing enemies can pin them to the wall as well, which is something very nice to look at. You can get Agbolto Prime by cracking open relics. Piranha Prime is an upgraded version of the normal Piranha with an additional perk. It has great critical chance and high status chance. It shoots in exactly the same way as the normal Piranha, but you can also make it double. If you kill 3 enemies very quickly, you will get an akimbo version of them, so double the fire rate and magazine capacity for some time. You can get it by cracking open relics. Velox Prime is an upgraded version of the Velox pistol. It has good critical chance and high status chance, with slash damage as its primary source of damage. It still shoots an automatic fire stream with innate ammo efficiency, so every 6th bullet will be free on average. And the reload from empty will also be 2 times faster. It is extremely accurate for a weapon with very fast fire rate, which you can get by cracking open relics. Kuva Brak is a different version of the normal Brak secondary shotgun. It has great critical chance and good status chance. Primarily, it deals your progenitor Warframes damage. It shoots a barrage of pellets that can mow down heavy targets or groups if you are near enough. And it also has better damage falloff compared to the normal Brak. You can get it from your Kuva Lich. Kuva Twin Stubas are an upgraded version of the Twin Stubas. They have good critical chance and great status chance, with primary slash damage and damage of your progenitor Warframe. They shoot a fast fire rate stream of bullets with relatively low recoil, so I would say it is a very reliable weapon. You can get it from your Kuva Lich. Kuva Nukor is an improved version of the normal Nukor that has low critical chance and amazing status chance. It primarily does radiation damage, plus the status you have on your progenitor Warframe. Additionally, I have to point out that this has the highest critical damage multiplier out of all secondary weapons in the game. But anyways, as I said, Kuva Nukor shoots a microwave beam that melts enemies from the inside out while chaining to them. Additionally, Kuva Nukor procs a special status effect called the microwave status that is not visible anywhere but does count for the galvanized mods. Just a fun status, you know. It is a fun weapon to play with that can easily carry you throughout the whole star chart and even the steel path if you mod it correctly. You can get it from your Kuva Lich. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 13 secondary weapons, so let's go to the Mastery Rank 14 ones. Euphona Prime is a very interesting shotgun with no normal counterpart. On its primary firing mode, it has great critical chance and low status chance. And on its secondary firing mode, it has low critical chance and okay status chance. Primarily, it does impact damage on its primary firing mode and slash damage on its secondary firing mode. With the primary firing mode, it shoots a normal bullet with high accuracy and not a lot of recoil. On the second firing mode, however, it shoots a buckshot that is great for killing larger groups of enemies, since it is not the most accurate. It also has a very interesting aftershot and reloading animation. You can get it by cracking open relics. Epitaph Prime is an upgraded version of the Epitaph. It has two firing modes, quick shots and charge shots. On quick shots it has no critical chance and extremely high status chance, and on the charge shot it has high critical chance and good status chance. Quick shots do a radial blast that have a 100% chance to apply cold status to the enemies. Because of the large radius and fast fire rate, the weapon is extremely good at priming enemies, just like the normal Epitaph. The second firing mode will on the other hand have a 100% chance to apply impact status on the enemies. On direct hits you also get a 1.2 times headshot damage multiplier if you're playing as Sevagoth. You can get it by cracking open relics. Ballistica Prime is an upgraded version of Ballistica with great critical chance and OK status chance. It primarily does puncture damage and has 2 firing modes. On the first firing mode, you will shoot a quick shot of 4 bolts at once, with less damage, so it is better to use this against groups of enemies. In addition, you can also shoot a charge shot if you charge up the whole meter. This only shoots 1 bolt though. Ballistica Prime also has a very interesting perk, spawning the enemies you kill with the charge shot as ally specters for a very short time. It is an interesting weapon to play with, and I recommend you get it just to farm Kavad genetic code. They actually work. If you scan the Kavad spirits, you can get more Kavad genetic code. You can get it by cracking open relics. Sepulchrum is an Entrati shotgun that has a very unique feature to it. It has great critical chance and good status chance, with primary puncture damage on direct hits and heat damage on radial hits. The fire rate is not the best, and the gun feels a bit heavy, but you can easily mod that out of it. In addition, Sepulchrum has a trait that allows it to shoot a volley of 5 rockets after you kill 5 enemies. To shoot the rockets, you need to select the alternate firing mode, aim and mark the enemies, and then shoot. It is a weapon that is very satisfying to use. You can get it from the Father at Necrolisk. Zakti Prime is a very unique pistol that is an upgraded version of the Zakti. It has good critical chance and high status chance, with primary gas damage as its main form of damage. Compared to the normal Zakti, it is an improvement in almost every way. It also has the same trait, making all the enemies hit by the gas from the canisters you shoot vulnerable to finishers for a very short duration. You can get it by cracking open relics. Pandero Prime is an upgraded version of the Pandero pistol. It has great critical chance and good status chance. Primarily, it does slash damage, and compared to the normal Pandero, it is improved across the board, with high status chance and damage output. You can still shoot in 2 modes. One is the normal shots and the other one is unload of the whole magazine at once. If you're playing with Octavia, headshot killing an enemy with the alternate firing mode will boost the reload speed of your next reload. You can get it by cracking open relics. Magnus Prime is an upgraded version of the Magnus pistol. It has great critical chance and status chance with primary impact damage. It is not the most accurate and the recoil is quite high, but you can mod that out and look at a very interesting trait it has. When hitting an enemy, there is a 4% chance you will get 100% ammo efficiency for 4 seconds. This might not be the easiest to achieve, but it can be quite good if you manage it. You can get it by cracking open relics. Magnus Prime are literally just a double version of the Magnus Prime. They have the same stats with great critical chance, great status chance, and primary impact damage. They yet again also have the same trait, which is even easier to achieve due to the faster fire rate. The magazine capacity is also doubled and the reload speed is a bit more than 2 times slower. You can get it by cracking open relics from Barrowketeer if he brings them around. Nell Prime is an upgraded version of the Nell. It has high critical chance and OK status chance with primary puncture and impact damage. It still works in the same way as the normal counterpart with the unique trait, being absolutely garbage if you're trying to shoot at enemy bodies and becoming a beast if shooting at their heads, gaining additional 0.5 times critical damage and 20% status chance up to 3 times. With 100% ammo efficiency. You can get it by cracking open relics. Laetum is a very unique weapon. It has great critical chance and status chance with primary slash damage. It shoots as a semi-auto pistol with quite a lot of recoil and very cool reloading animation. The fire rate is not the best at first, but you can easily mod that out and check the Incarnon mode. I will not show it this time, but people really like the gun because of its base version, not because of its Incarnon one, or maybe both, I don't know. You can get it from Cavallero on the Zariman. Tenet Spearex is a Corpus Special Issue weapon. It has great critical chance and high status chance. It primarily does heat damage and the damage of your progenitor Warframe. When shooting it, the fire rate is not the best, but it does do radial damage in the form of heat. This weapon also has a unique trait, which allows it to reload faster for a short duration after you hit a headshot. This bonus stacks up 2 times, halving your reload. It is not a room clearer since it doesn't have the best radial damage, but it is still good. You can get it from your Sister of Parvos. Acarius Prime are an upgraded version of the Acarius twin pistols that shoot seeking rockets at the enemies. They have okay critical chance and high status chance. They primarily do blast damage through the explosions. You will shoot them in bursts that seek the enemies and obliterate them on impact. The pistols do have a slightly longer reload speed, but you can reload them quicker if you sprint, which is a very unique perk. You can get them by cracking open relics. Onos is a wrist-mounted cannon that is quite interesting. It has great critical chance and status chance with puncture as its primary damage. It shoots a slow fire rate shot of bolts with pinpoint accuracy. It has a bit slower reload, but all the other stats do make it a good weapon. You can get it from the Deimos Entrati Labs Disruption and can transfer them into the Incarnon form as soon as you get it. Tenet Cycron is an improved version of the normal Cycron. It has good critical chance and high status chance, with heat and your progenitor Warframe status as primary damage source. It still works the same way as the normal Cycron. It shoots hot plasma with a relatively short range, but now it also travels to the other enemies in a chain reaction, which means you can spread more status to them. The magazine is still rechargeable, so it is really nice and one of the best primers in the game if you ask me. You can get it from your Sister of Parvos. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 14 weapons. Let's now go to a few of Mastery Rank 15. Aklex Prime are a primed version of the Aklex pistols. They have high critical chance and status chance and primarily deal puncture damage. They work exactly the same way as the Aklex pistols, with higher caliber shots that pack a massive punch and have quite a recoil. Aklex Prime is a massive improvement compared to the normal Aklex, with improved stats across the board, with the exception of reloading. But that can easily be modded out. You can get it by cracking open relics from Barrow-Kitir if he brings them. SEER is a weapon only comparable to one of the top weapons in the game, the Mighty SEER. SEER has good critical chance and great status chance, with primary puncture damage and the damage of your progenitor Warframe, since you will get it from QuadLyStop. Its shots do deal a very tiny radial blast with corrosive status, so it is great for armor stripping isolated enemies. You can get it from your QuadLyStop. Kraken is an upgraded version of the Kraken pistol. It has good critical chance and great status chance with primary impact damage. It, similarly to the normal Kraken, shoots in bursts of 3 bullets that are relatively accurate. It also has a unique trait that allows you to shoot out a whole magazine you have left in one succession, dealing massive damage and having massive recoil. It may at times be a bit more ammo intensive, but it is very fun to use. You can get it from your QuadLyStop. And that is it with the Mastery Rank 15 secondary weapons. Now let's go to the Mastery Rank 16 ones. Tenet Detron is an upgraded version of the Detron weapon that has good critical chance and okay status chance. It primarily does radiation damage. It shoots a buckshot of plasma pellets with quite good accuracy at a very fast rate. Its reload is not that bad as well. The best thing though about it is the alternate firing mode, which will unload the whole magazine at once, dealing massive amounts of damage. You can get it from your Sister of Power boss. Tenet Diplos are quite unique automatic pistols that have high critical chance and status chance. They primarily do your progenitor Warframes damage. They shoot at a fast fire rate if you shoot them from the hip. If you shoot them by aiming, however, you will shoot all the enemies that get marked by your aim with 2 shots. This is great for clearing rooms of low-ranking enemies, but besides that, Tenet Diplos also reloads 10% of your magazine per second when holstered. As I said, this is quite a unique pistol. You can get it from your Sister of Power boss. And that is it, we've come to the end of this secondary weapon showcase. This was very hard to make. I am right now sick and I was recording this whole thing sick, so I am very sorry if you hear any of those noises. Yes, that is me being freaking sick and blowing my nose all the time. My head hurts, and all the knowledge I got from these Tenet weapons, and I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm absolutely delirious. Anyways, with this, I thank you for watching. Next time we will look at the melee weapons, which, oh boy, there's a lot of them. With this, I thank you for watching, and I wish you a very nice day. Bye, guys.